Hello and good morning to all of you on this wonderful, fantastic, cloudy eclipse day. Unfortunately, it looks to be the case, although I hear clearer skies are coming our way. I'll believe it when I see it. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the eclipse themed music that we had at the beginning here. But it is 9:10 and it's the start of the second session. You guys are here with me, Brett Stanic, for practice sets in Google Classroom. So Google Classroom has made several advances and has created a lot of good stuff that we previously did not have access to, but we now do with our new Google subscription. So Practice Sets is one of those brand new tools, and that's what I'll be going over with you today. So we're going to be doing some interactive things. You're going to be checking out what I'm presenting, but then you're also going to have some hands-on experience with Practice Sets. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get started. Several of you have probably already seen the message that I have shared with you on the screen, but I would like you to go ahead and join my Practice Sets Google Classroom. So if you have not done so, please try to do that now, and we'll give everybody an extra minute or two to do that. If you are not familiar with how to join Google Classroom, maybe because you're not using it or you've always used it as a teacher, but not necessarily a student. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do that on my screen. I'll go ahead and present what that looks like. So give me 1 second. Alrighty. All right, so I've now shared my screen with you. The first step that you need to do is make sure that you're on google.com. So again, I'll just go to google.com here. Takes me to this page. There's nothing fancy here, but in the top right-hand corner, first of all, please make sure that you're signed in with your Euclid Google account. So your first initial full last name at euclidschools.org. So make sure that you're signed in with your Euclid account. And then in the Google Apps icon, which is the square with other little squares, you click on that, you'll see the option for Classroom. So once you click on Classroom, it will take you to your home screen for Classroom. Now on this home screen, if you do have Google Classrooms set up for yourself and your students already, you will see them here, down here at the bottom. If you need to add My Class still, you can do that by clicking on the plus button in the top right-hand corner. So as of right now, everybody's, mic is on mute. If you do have any questions, please feel free to ask as I go along. Otherwise, I'll just keep plugging along. But if you need to join my class, again, that's the plus button in the top right-hand corner, and you'll click Join Class. It'll say your account up here at the top, and then you'll put in the class code down here at the bottom, and I'll put that back up here in just a second for you to see. So there's the class code again if you still need it. Go ahead and join my Google Classroom. And once you're there, just hang tight. We'll give everybody about 1 more minute to join, and then we'll move on to the next part.
Don't say my dang on name. I don't even see S no more. Whew.
If you aren't seeing the new resources and things, again, make sure that you are signed in with your Euclid Google account. There was a person or two in the first session that also didn't quite have access to the new materials yet. I will check with Jamie about that and make sure that everybody does have access here, hopefully starting tomorrow. But most of us should have that access. You'll see the new tools in a specific spot on Google Classroom. Mine's going to look a little bit different than yours because I have admin privileges. So you'll see that I have a few different things than you have, but if you are signed into your Euclid Google account, you should hopefully see in the top left-hand corner the new stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and share my Google Classroom page. So if you are signed into my Google Classroom, you should be looking at something that looks just like this. And it's called Practice Sets for Google Classroom, PD April 8th, 2024. So once you are on this Google Classroom page, I do have resources and things for you here. I have a couple of different activities that we're going to do together today that is located on this Google Classroom page. So again, if you still haven't joined, please make sure you try to do so as soon as possible. Looks like we have a few new joins. So the very first thing that I would like to do with you guys today is I would like to share a video with you. Excuse me, Bonnie Taylor. Let's do this. All right, so our first activity, I'm going to go ahead and show
Learning is
Google's
personal.
version of the practice sets video. Just as a warning, this video does go by pretty quickly. It's almost 3 minutes long, and it very quickly goes through what practice sets is. Don't panic. We're going to get more in depth into this. We're going to talk about it, figure out exactly what it is and how it can be beneficial to you and your students. But we'll start off with Google's video.
Learning is personal. Students stay more engaged and learn more effectively when they get feedback right away. But one-on-one help for each student isn't always possible with the learning tools that exist today. For educators, having a round-the-clock tutor for each student that could help them grade classwork and give insights into student comprehension would be ideal. That's why we're creating a new tool in Google Classroom called Practice Sets, which enables educators to create interactive assignments from their existing content or from scratch. Students can get help as they answer questions, and teachers can get automated insights to know where students are getting stuck. Let's take a look at how it works. Once teachers create practice sets using existing content or by writing their own questions, our adaptive learning technology identifies the relevant learning skills for each question and finds relevant hints and resources that will be available for students if they need help. With all the typical question types like multiple choice and short answer, practice sets also have a built-in math keyboard and use our adaptive learning technology to enable equivalent answers for robust auto-grading. Teachers assign practice sets in Google Classroom like any other assignment. Students open practice sets right from an assignment in Google Classroom. As they work, auto-grading lets them know right away if their solution is correct, which helps build confidence, keeps them engaged, and prevents one misunderstanding from impacting the entire set. If they don't get a question on the first try, built-in hints help them along. When a student is unsure of where to start, they can open a resources section, which provides recommended videos and concept cards for each learning skill. Additional features include designated space to show their work, allowing them to demonstrate understanding while giving their teacher visibility into their thinking. For assignments created with practice sets, you will have enhanced features in the Classroom Grader view. Teachers get a quick view of class performance and can see student work for every attempt they make per problem. Automated insights reveal class-wide trends, so teachers gain visibility and can adjust their teaching plan if many students struggle with the same question or concept. With practice sets, students get the help they need faster, and teachers get actionable insights about their class. We understand that no two learning journeys are the same, so we're building tools that work for you.
Alrighty, so taking a look at what practice sets is it's basically just like it sounds. It's practice for students, but it's not just practice. It has instant feedback for students and provides you with data to show you exactly where your students are at. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually do an example practice set. You guys are going to do it like you were the students, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like from the teacher end of things. So if you go back to our Google Classroom, you will see if you go up to, there's 4 different categories at the top. There's stream, classwork, people, and grades. What I'd like you to do is go to the classwork tab. And underneath the very top section, example practice set, there's an assignment called example practice set. So if you click on that, you'll see the assignment listed there for you. What I would like to do is I'd like you to take the next 5 or so minutes to go ahead and click on that and go ahead and answer the 3 questions that I have there for you. Don't worry about getting them right or wrong, but go ahead and answer these 3 questions. We'll give everybody about 5 minutes, and then we will come back together at 9:26 to go over what it looks like on the teacher side of things. One more minute or so. If you are finished, feel free to click around on this practice set so you can check out some of the things that are available to students. If you haven't noticed it, on the right-hand side, there is a light bulb next to each question. And then there's also an extra help button. If you want to check those out, see what is available to students while they complete practice sets. About one more minute, and then we'll reconvene. Alrighty, so hopefully you got through those 3 questions. I know they were real barn burners there and tough to answer. But what I would like to do is I'd like to show you what it looks like now from my side of things as the teacher. So I have my assignment here. I can see, that 106 people have turned it in. This is from the morning session ends as well as you guys. So when I click on the student work of things, I can see exactly who turned it in as normal, who still needs to turn it in. But up here at the top, I now have this new button that says Class Insights. And this is where things get kind of interesting. So when I click on Class Insights, it takes me to a page that's going to give me quite a bit of information about what we have going on. So for instance, if I wanted to see data for all students, I could leave it as all students. I can specifically choose one student if I want to see exactly what they did. I'm going to leave it as all students for now, but the quick insights that it gives me, it tells me what students struggled with a lot of problems. It even tells me that problem number 3 was one that people had to attempt multiple times, even though it shouldn't, because those answers are very clear cut and easy to answer in my opinion. But the students that persevered through multiple attempts on many problems, it lists that even. So if you have students that are really struggling, it'll list those students for you so that you can offer them more assistance. In addition to that, I can see at a quick view, if I just raised and lowered my menu up here, it'll show me the students. It'll tell me what their score is, what questions they got wrong. So I can actually go through and see specifically how students did. If I want to get more data on one specific problem, I can now go over here to my problem and I can click on that and it'll now show me more detailed information about all my students who answered this question. It'll show me, if they didn't turn it in, it'll say ungraded. If they did answer it, it'll show me how many attempts they did, if they ended up with it correct or incorrect. So correct answers, by the way, were good looking, handsome, and bearded, but a lot of people did get that one wrong, unfortunately. So it's very useful at a glance. It does show you really good data. So maybe the question was worded poorly. Maybe it's a concept that you need to reinforce in your classroom. There could be a lot of things going on, but now we actually have some data to go along with just putting our assignments on Google Classroom. So somebody in the chat did ask a good question about using Edge Elastic. This is very similar in a lot of ways. As a matter of fact, it's very similar to Google Forms, which they've incorporated a lot of those features into practice sets. However, there are some differences. Google Forms is a good way for assessments because you can lock students into a Google form and that's the only thing they can open. Practice sets is more for exactly like what it sounds like, practice. It's not a great way to formally assess students, but it is a quick way to get some good data on what's going on in your own classroom. So these are insights, they're called. I can see all the student data. It's very, very useful to us as teachers, obviously, to kind of help us reinforce our teaching or see what we need to do better on our end. So that is now there for you to use as well in Google Classroom. So to go over how to create practice sets, I have something in my Google Classroom. So let me share my screen once again. So if I'm on my Google Classroom, underneath the classwork tab, the next activity that I'd like us to go ahead and do is under the materials section. The first video that we saw is this introducing practice set. So if you wanted to watch that introductory video again, it is listed there for you under materials. But what I would like you to do is go to material number 2, Google Practice Set Demo. So when you click on Google Practice Set Demo, you can go ahead and click on the assignment. It's going to open up a brand new tab. And if you scroll down just a little bit, you can see the different sections of this demo that you guys are about to do. You can complete all these sections. The only one that you can skip over is this manage access to practice sets as an admin. Obviously, that applies to the tech department, not so much you guys, obviously. So if you click the start demo button, it'll start you off and you'll be able to go through and see how to create your own practice sets. And then we're going to go ahead and do an example together live after you guys go through the demo. So go ahead and click that Start Demo button. This takes roughly about 10 minutes or so. We will reconvene for the next part of our practice sets at 9:41. Alrighty, I think most people are probably wrapping up the demo. So the demo kind of walks you through how to create a practice set, but it's not a good replacement for actually trying it hands-on yourself. So that's kind of what we're going to do. For this next part, since you guys are students in my Google Classroom, you don't have teacher access, obviously. So if you want to go along with me, you're going to need to sign into one of your own Google Classrooms or create a new one where you are the teacher so that you can practice and kind of play around with the practice sets. So to get to practice sets, what you need to do is obviously enter into one of your Google Classrooms, and then you're going to go to the Classwork tab. So just like anytime you create a new assignment, you're going to go through the same steps. So nothing's changed about this part. You're going to click on the Create button, and you're going to click on Assignment. So when you click on Assignment, all the normal things are there, but there are a few new things down here at the bottom, which I'll get to in just a second. So as normal, you put in a title. If you want to have instructions for your students listed, you would list them in the instructions part. You can assign it to specific students if you only want to assign it to certain students in your class. Put the due dates. You can file it underneath a topic. So all these things are things that you've done before in Google Classroom, or at least for those of you that are using it. And then you can also set in your points total if you want to grade it. So down here at the bottom is where the new part comes in. So you'll see down here at the bottom, there's something called practice sets, which is what we've been discussing today. There's also something called YouTube. So I'm going to briefly talk about the YouTube, even though I'm not covering it in this session, but it is worth pointing out because I know a lot of people are using Edpuzzle, where you can take videos and then you can add questions to them. That's exactly what this new feature does for you. It allows you to take a YouTube video. You can use the YouTube video and then you can stop it at certain points and ask students questions about the video that they're watching so they can put in their answers. And just like practice sets, it will guide them along. It will tell them if their answers is correct or incorrect. So that's the YouTube feature. It's just like practice sets, but I just wanted to point it out to you so that you know that it's there. You are more than welcome to play around with that as well. But today, obviously, we're focused on the practice sets. So I'm going to click on New Practice Set. So when I click on New Practice Sets, it's going to go ahead and list the practice sets that I've already gone ahead and created. So like the one that we did together as a class here just a little bit ago was this one. I created one just to play around with it for math. And then I did one last session where I didn't even give it a name. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start fresh. I want to create a brand new practice set. So I'm going to click on that blue button that's there. Now in chat, I see that a couple of people do not have those new features yet. Please don't panic about that. They will be rolled out here. I'm hoping by tomorrow morning, everybody will have access. As this is a brand new Google subscription for us, we were able to get it to most people, but there were a few people that, for whatever reason, didn't accept. So Jamie Yeen is currently working on that. For those people, if you could just follow along with me, I'll go through and kind of demonstrate how to create a practice set as well as some of the features in there. So I apologize for that, but again, you should hopefully have access by tomorrow. So for practice sets, I went ahead and created a brand new practice set. So I can give my practice set a name. I'm just going to call this example. Delete, so I know. So I have a title for my practice set, and then I can go ahead and start off by putting in my questions. And there's a lot of different ways that you can do this. So you can just simply type in your question, but you can choose how you want your students to respond. It can either be short answer, which can be auto-graded. You can have them answer in a paragraph, which is not auto-graded. That's something that teachers will have to go in and manually grade themselves, as AI doesn't help us there yet. Hopefully soon, but not yet. Single select answers or even multi-select answers. And I tried to show you an example of that in my practice set that you guys went through, my 3-question one. So you can choose what kind of answer you want the students to provide. And then down here at the bottom, there's a skills section, which hopefully will be auto-populated depending on the question that we actually type in. So for instance, we're going to type in a question. Who is the President of the United States of America? So I'm going to put in my question, and right off the bat, Google AI was kind enough to suggest Joe Biden is the correct answer. Now, we obviously do know that is the correct answer, so if I click on it, it'll fill it into my answer box automatically. Now, if you are a math teacher, practice sets is going to be absolutely amazing for you. There's nothing out there that is like this, but there are math answers that you can toggle on. Now, it detects that it's not a math question, so I can't select it, but I'll give you an example of that in our next question here. So Joe Biden is our correct answer. If you wanted to put in a second answer, and this one goes right to John Davies here, you can go ahead and put in your second answer as well that you would want it to accept. So Joe Biden, well, his real name's Joseph, obviously, so we could put in Joseph Biden, and it will now accept either of those two answers as correct. In addition to that, for you math teachers, up at the top in the settings wheel, and this is important for you, there's something called allow equivalent answers. So, you know, if you have an answer that's a fraction, but you also want to accept it as a whole number, you can put a check mark in this box, and now it will allow that. So you could put in, you know, 3/1, you could put in 3.0, you could put in 3, and it would accept all three of those answers, and AI would automatically detect it and know. So you wouldn't have to type in all three of those things in this box. It would just automatically do it for you as a math teacher. But if you're using this as English, history, reading, and it has multiple answers that you would accept, you do need to put them in yourself under this answer box. So now that we have the question, we have our answer, we want to be able to assist our students and help them, but we want AI to do it for us. So AI is not perfect, just so you guys know, obviously, but it does usually offer us things that we need or skills that students need to be able to answer the question. So for instance, I clicked the button and it came up with this, but this is clearly not what we need. So AI did not detect the question correctly for us. It did not provide the automatic assistance that we really wanted it to. So what we need to do now is search for skills that students might need to be able to answer this question. So I'm just going to type in President of the United States, and it comes up with some pretty good suggestions. Identify the requirements to run as a candidate. I don't know why it offered that one, but like I said, AI is not perfect, but it's nice that it's starting to think. It is rapidly improving, and this is a brand new feature that's set out by Google. So they are improving as they go along as well. Hopefully it gets better and better. Maybe even by next school year, we could see some real progress and have it be much better than it currently is. But I'm going to go ahead and select this top one, identify the requirements to run as a candidate for President of the United States. So now that I did that, it's providing me with automatic resources. So for instance, I click on this explainer, and here's two pretty good resources. United States President requirements. It doesn't tell me the answer, Joe Biden, of course, but it does provide things that the students might need to answer further questions. And then under the extra help tab, it'll also show me those same resources as well as anything else that it feels it might be useful or relevant. Now, if you check these resources and you look at one, it's like, I really don't want the students to have that resource, you just simply click the X and now it's gone. So Google's doing some of the work for you. It's, again, not perfect, but it works pretty well for what it is and how early this is in the AI cycle. So now you can also import questions directly from Google Forms. So let's say you have questions already made. You don't want to reinvent the wheel. What you can do is you can simply take them from your PDFs and put them in here. So I'll show you an example. I'll import. I don't necessarily have an assignment right off the bat, but I'll just use this PDF as an example, and I'll show you what it does. So I choose my PDF that I want to take questions from, and it's telling me to select each problem that you want to import. So let's pretend that this is a reading passage, and then there's questions down here at the bottom. So I want the reading passage. I'm going to highlight it, And then let's say the questions are down here at the bottom. So I can actually highlight two things on this same PDF, and I just click on import questions. Now, when I do that, it now puts it into my practice set as a separate question. So I can choose what kind of answer I want them to give me. And here's the PDF question that's already there. It is cut off, but it will not be cut off for students. It's just doing that to save space for you at the time. But when students see it, they'll be able to see the full thing. You can put your answer in as normal. You can add in your skills and resources. And then the other question that I took from that PDF is listed as number 3. So I highlighted two different things. It put it in as two different questions. So if you want to take a full question and the answers from a PDF, you just highlight it as one section, basically. So you can take things from PDFs that you've already created. Likewise, down at the bottom, you can create new questions. So now I'll do a math question. We'll say solve for x. Let's do 3x minus 5 equals, let's say 10. So I want students to solve for x. So now what I want them to do is give me the correct answer. So we'll say x equals, let's see, that would be 5. So now I have my correct answer in there. I did choose for my settings, allow equivalent answers. So if the student puts in x equals 5.0, that's totally fine. We'll accept that answer. Short answer is how I want to leave it, although I could make it multiple choice if I wanted to. Skills, let's see what they suggest. So right off the bat, it actually does suggest some pretty good things for me. Solve the unknown variable in the algebraic equation. Yep, that sounds right. Let's see, solve linear equations. Also sounds right to me. So let's see what they've offered up as resources for students. Solving an equation. Yep, that's actually perfect. That looks like a great resource to use. Here's a demonstration, so that would work as well. I like that. And then under extra help, we have those same resources listed here. Here's a YouTube video that they came up with to help students solve that. So like I said, AI is not perfect, but it does offer some good suggestions. But you do want to go through those resources yourself and double check, obviously. So if you do, like I said, find one that you don't want or there's just too many, you can go ahead and close out of them so that they're not there for the students to see. So as you create your own practice sets, up at the top right-hand corner, you can see what students see by clicking the Try as a Student button. So a couple of the questions I didn't put answers for, just go ahead and hit continue anyway. So if I start putting in my answers, I can hit the check button, and this is what students would see. They'll tell them if they got it right or if they got it wrong. If the student needs those resources, they're listed there on the side. Question 2 and 3, I didn't put an answer for, but question 4, let's say I put x equals, I don't know, 10. And I'm gonna hit the check button, and it's gonna say, try again. And now over here on the right, this little light bulb is giving me an indicator like, hey, you might need some help, show me a hint. So now I can look at the different hints that are there. As a math teacher, you might want your students to show work, obviously. So how did they come up with that answer? If it is wrong, they can click the show your work button. And if they use the pen tool, they can go ahead and write out the equation. You'll have to forgive my handwriting because it's not wonderful. But you can have them show their work so that they can demonstrate their understanding of it. Plus 5 and 3. So they can solve through that equation. And then let's say they come up with the correct answer. We'll check it. And then they got it. So that's what the students would see. If they get something wrong, it'll let them know. It'll say, hey, you got this wrong. They can try it again. They can keep trying it until they get the right answer. If they get so frustrated and the assistance isn't helping them, they can leave it as the wrong answer, and it'll show you all that as the teacher when you go to get those insights. So again, it's a great way to check for your students' understanding, to see where they're at, see if you need to supplement your own material, if you need to remediate or go back over the same concepts. It does show you all that in those insights. So it's really cool stuff, in my opinion. Like I said, it's brand new. It's getting better and better, but we did want to roll this out to you guys, or at least show you, so that you can start using this in your own classroom.